Hi there, it's Stephanie from Mommy Standard Time. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Vlogmas. But it's actually Friday, which around here means we're either going to do some $5 fun, which we've done the last couple of weeks. The other thing we do on Fridays is fail. When I first started thinking about starting a YouTube channel, I really wanted to do a failure Friday. The idea came to me when I was listening to an interview. I can't even remember who it was, but it was a super successful woman raised by a super successful father. And she was talking about their dinner conversation. And around the dinner table, her dad would ask, "What did you fail at today?" And they would have to name something that they failed at. Because the reason behind it is you should set out to fail every day, because that means you are learning and growing every day. Now, this concept might be a little iffy for some of us, especially those of us who struggle with perfectionist tendencies. That would be me. Now, I deal with perfectionist procrastination, is what I call it. Other people might call it analysis paralysis. But basically, waiting until you have everything figured out so that you will succeed in whatever project you're trying to accomplish. Now, what usually happens when you do that? You don't do it at all, because the conditions are never going to be perfect. And so I wanted to do Failure Friday as kind of a challenge to myself, that I need to just start doing things, stop thinking about them and overthinking about them, and just try. And then if I fail, I've learned something. I mean, Vlogmas is a perfect example. I wasn't really ready to start a YouTube channel in my mind, but I dove in and started, and I'm making tons of mistakes and I'm learning a whole bunch. And so today is a simple failure though. I have a gift. Now, promise you'll keep this a secret, but I have a gift for one of my kids and it is very awkward. I can't just put it in one of those giant gift bags because she would be able to guess what it is basically immediately. So I want to put it in a gift box of some kind. At this time of year and with COVID, I'm trying to limit how many places I go to and how many trips I have to make to different places. And so I didn't want to check in at the appliance store for cardboard to create my own box, which I have done in the past. But today I was at the Dollar Tree, of course. That's like my second home. But I was at the Dollar Tree and I noticed they had that foam poster board, and I thought, let's try and make a box of sorts with this. So remember, I'm setting out to fail on this. We're just gonna dive right in. If it's a failure, great. That means I've learned something. But in the off chance it works, even better, because I have now a gift box for this awkward item. Okay, and did I mention that part of this, to add a little more pressure, I need to be out of here, out of the house in like 10 minutes. I'm gonna use a T-square, and then I think we're gonna use just some packing tape. Let's see if it works. So before I went to the dollar store, I had already measured this gift, so I already knew what kind of cardboard or foam I was looking for. So what I did was I purchased 5 of these boards. I knew that I could put 2 side by side for one part of the box and then another 2 for the other part of the box. And then I bought a 5th so that I could use it to kind of cut edges for the box. I wasn't exactly sure how this was gonna go, but I figured 5 would be enough. And so you see, I'm just using packing tape on both sides, and then I repeat with 2 more of those foam sheets. So even though I had measured this, I was kind of anxious to make sure that these boards would be wide enough, which they were not. You'll see that the chair poked out just a little bit, but it's mostly the plush part, so I can kind of push it back in. So I got the T-square out and just kind of awkwardly got a rough estimate for how wide I would need those edges to be. And then I just had a plastic lid from a tote so that I wouldn't cut up my carpet. And then I started cutting the edges with the T-square. Now, here's where one of my fails came in because I have used drywall squares before. And it always just takes me a minute to kind of calculate, okay, where are the numbers and what side of this thing do I need to cut on for that number to be accurate. Anyway, and I was in a rush, so I totally messed up. You'll see here in just a second that I measured to the 5 inches that I wanted, but then I cut on the wrong side of the ruler. And so it was actually only 3 inches. But this was a happy little accident because it ended up being just fine. And I was able to start taping those along the box. Now a funny story while you watch me tape up this box. So when I cut on the wrong side of that ruler, it totally reminded me of a very vivid memory from middle school. Oh, those beautiful middle school years. So I had bangs at that time, and I just decided my bangs needed a trim. And so I had never done it myself before, but I had always seen people put their finger on the bangs and then they cut, where their finger is. Now, as I was getting ready to cut, I thought, well, if I cut below my finger, then all of that hair is just going to fall in the sink, and I didn't want to make a mess. So with my fingers holding my bangs, I cut above my finger and my bangs were wet. So as they dried, I think I had about like a centimeter of bangs. I mean, I had hardly any left. And so I would gel them back and wear my hair up. And then sometimes during the day, the gel would wear off, the gel and the hairspray. And then I would have like these little whiskers that would stick straight up. Oh my goodness, middle school. Such a traumatic time. Once I had the top and bottom taped on, then I just kind of created this little sleeve for the chair, and I just slipped right in. And I was actually very impressed that the foam board was pretty sturdy. And so all I did was to just make it easier for me to wrap, I just taped along both of those open sides so that the chair wouldn't slip out while I was transporting it or trying to wrap it. And I just kind of crossed my fingers that that would be enough structure. And so that's where I left this project, and then I had to run some errands. We had to go to the orthodontist, and so then I came back and noticed that some of those seams were already either kind of popping or I just hadn't taped them very well when I was in such a hurry. So I just reinforced those edges, and then it was time to wrap. As minimalistic as I am when it comes to wrapping paper, I'll link my wrapping station video up above so you can see. But after I filmed that, I realized that, we're gonna maybe have a couple of larger boxes. I really should get one long roll of wrapping paper. It doesn't look long right here because of the camera angle, but it's a very long roll of wrapping paper. And so I was able to cover this without having much trouble. But the orientation of the wrapping paper, I had to tape along the open side, and so I was lucky that this was long enough that I could fold the ends all the way over to the back so that I could tape on an actual foam board instead of trying to tape to the nothingness on the width of that box. And I've shown the way that I make ribbon bows a couple of times on this channel. I'll link those for you. But really, I didn't have a very wide ribbon to choose from. And so I just used this, I think it's 2-inch ribbon.
and I just used several extra loops so that the bow was a little bit more full for this large package. And I know some people are thinking, well, why didn't you just use one of those large gift bags for $1 and then just hide the gift until Christmas? I keep all of the presents in my closet, and I'm ready to have my closet back. So I like to go ahead and wrap all of the gifts except for Santa's presents that come on Christmas Eve. Everything else gets put under the tree, but I definitely start with the largest, and now it's time to start filling under the tree.
Anyway, so there you have it, our first Failure Friday, and I think it went pretty well. But remember, the point of Failure Friday is to learn and to grow. I refreshed my memory on the right way to measure across on a drywall T-square. I also learned that I actually really do like working with that foam board. It cuts much easier than cardboard, but it's nice and sturdy, so that was good. Now, I know that I spent $5 on that, but when I think about, I would have had to gone to multiple stores probably asking for large pieces of cardboard or large boxes. And this time of year, time is of the essence. I also learned that it is worth it to keep one roll of super long wrapping paper in your house. And I was able to get away with having the sides of that awkward gift open. So those open sides, in full disclosure, I did poke a hole as I was taking it over to the tree. I was able to put tape over it, but that was a risk I took by not closing up the sides of that box. I'm kind of liking this whole Failure Friday thing because it is pushing me to stop overanalyzing everything and just get stuff done. This little project took less than 30 minutes, like start to finish, getting all the stuff out. We did take a little break, which you saw, to go to the orthodontist, but then, yeah, it's all done. The present's under the tree, and Minnie is really excited. Be sure to hit subscribe and click the notification bell. I really appreciate your support, and I hope you have an awesome evening. I will see you tomorrow with another Vlogmas video.